So I think let's start. I'm sure a lot of people would be joining in due course of time. So thank you so much, Deepak sir, for joining this session on Saturday afternoon, and thanks everyone for joining the session. Uh, Own fund, then only a deal comes on the platform. What do we offer? It's a platform, so entire thing, including what do you want to see before taking any decision, all the documents, due diligence, everything is available. And when you invest through the platform, it becomes our responsibility to provide all the pre and post fundraise, update as well. These are the few successful deals which we have done in the past. There are many other deals also, which we need to update. So it's a almost 15 months old platform. We have completed 15, 16 deals on the platform. This is about the team. Sanjay, me and Pratik, we three are the co-founders. We started ideating in March 22, April 22, we started developing. In October 22 late, we went live with our first deal. Neha and Nidhi are, our core team members. Asit Oberoi, who's a veteran banker, ex-financial controller of Standard Bank in India. Atul Kasbekar, he's a Bollywood film producer, produced movie like Nirja and all, which are national award winning. Dr. Deepak Kelkar, who's a leading psychiatrist, and Sushant Basin, who's a avid banker of 32 years of experience. They all are an advisor, to the Growth 91 platform. So we provide all the startup deals which are early in nature, and we do only those deals where we put our own check as well. Thank you for this. Now I'll just start, with our today's, most awaited session. Deepak sir, you won't believe, but a lot of people have already reached out to me, and they are not able to join, but they have specifically asked me to share the, recording with after this, seminar. So thank you so much, sir, again for joining the session. So I'll just take a couple of minutes to introduce sir. I'm sure most of sir's friends would also be part of the call. But Mr. Deepak Kamath, carries 50 years of, overall experience. He's 70-year-old. Sir, sorry, I'm sharing, about your age, but I'm sure it will, correlate a lot of people about, your investment journey as well. He is a serial investor with vast experience in equity, mutual fund, PMS, AIF, and angel investment as well. He was a former country manager and regional technical manager at Exa Insurance, and he was CEO at Dofer Insurance, which he helped turn around completely from failing this iconic insurer to the successful entity. And also he was executive director at Arabian Industries. About sir's education qualification. So he's a Bachelor of Engineering in metallurgy from KREC, and with a skill set in management training, business planning, and health insurance and general insurance. Sir, I'm sorry if I would have missed any name in terms of your experience, but largely could able to cover most of your experience and your journey about this thing. So let me start, with my first question. So anyone has a question, please feel free to put it in the chat. I have a couple of questions to start with. I'll put in to the sir. Let's hear from the sir, and I'll surely take it up with all the questions from the participants as well. Sir, so my first fundamental question, about your investment journey is when, how, and why did you start your investment journey?
Okay, thanks, Jimish, for this introduction, and I hope I'm audible to you guys.
Yeah, please.
Okay,
Yeah.
so my college was KRSC, but I can see Pratik from NIT, which is now the new name for NIT, Suratkal. Okay, when did I start? I started earning at the age of 21, and I used to see my dad invest in IPOs at that time. I don't know what was called at that time, but so I also. Sorry?
No, please go ahead, sir. I think.
Yeah, so at the age of around 21, so 49 years exactly, I applied for Tube Investments. Okay, copying my father, whatever he was doing, and he had some fantastic blue chips which helped him or helped later my mother. So I applied, and Tube Investment was my first investment with my first salary. So that's how I started. So it was good.
Sure. So I mean, since you started, at the age of 20, I'm sure, you earned the money, you started, with this, first tube investment. So what has been your learning, throughout your journey? So it's so 45, 50 years is a too long time, right? I mean, a lot of people are in the age of, 20, 25 also in the call, I can see even my team members are also including, Pratik, we are young chap, right? So what has been your learning, throughout this, investment journey?
If I can break it down into two parts, the first 40 years of my investment and the last 10 years. In the first 40 years, I made enough mistakes. Okay. I was greedy, impatient, and just going around with all the tips and other advices. So no focus, no focus. I had some money to spare. Okay. And therefore I put in, lost a little bit of money. Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Because I can't see the screen. So what did I do wrong? Yeah, sorry. Huh? Okay. So now I focus on after the age of 60, when I sort of started being a little bit more sensible, I would say, in my investment approach. I did consult a few advisors. I don't know whether I should name them, but they helped me guide. Also, I subscribed to one of these investment magazines, and I did my own research before I started investment. So if you want to ask me what was the first 40 years, was pretty bad. Okay, a lot of learning, a lot of money loss, etc. But the last 10 years has been extremely good, because then I started defining my objective, which is one of the things which I will suggest to any young person who's going to start. Okay, what is your objective? How much do you want to earn per annum? When do you want to earn it? How much can you spare the money? Okay, so these ones, once you have locked it in place, and then it becomes fairly easy for you to start being greedy, like I was for the first 40 years. And because I was an NRI, I had some surplus money. It was easy for me to lose money and not regret it today. Okay. So the last 10 years from the age of 60 till 70 has been fantastic. We have gone through two, three cycles of downturns. The worst was COVID, but even during that cycle, it has been good. I think uh, we can talk more about the 10 years rather than the first 40 years. It's easy to forget, but you young guys shouldn't do this, shouldn't do what I did. Okay.
Sure. So I mean, just to understand more, how many years you were in Oman? So I can see that you have spent a lot of your career time in Oman. So how much time you spend in Oman?
Totally 38 years I was in the Middle East. Most of it was in Saudi Arabia, 18 years, and then about 10 years in Oman and 10 years in Bahrain. In between in Dubai for some time. I used to travel quite frequently when I was working for AXA, which is a multinational. I used to travel roughly once in a week abroad. Okay, so it has been not easy at the time to start investing. So somebody gives me a tip, I'll invest. Okay, rather than doing some research on my own. Yeah, Pratik.
I saw very nice. Finally seeing you, and done a lot of work together. But I think nice to see you here. Um, so I had a question. You were saying, first 40 years you made mistakes. Last 10 years you have found some formula or something that works for you. Correct me if I'm wrong, right? A strategy. So
Hmm.
what out of all these mistakes, what would you say, like, what were you trying to discover? Were you trying to discover your primary metric? What was that? What did you land at finally after, like, sifting through a lot? For example, you said you were going into tips, taking other people's advice. Did you finally land on your own advice, or how did that actually pan out? Because another thing, sir, one more question is, and does the power of compounding really start to take a really big effect going later? Because right now we can't see it being young.
Hmm.
So does that consistency pay off?
Yeah, okay, for this presentation, I started looking at the 40 years. Okay, I don't think I made all mistakes. I may say overall we made a mistake. I recall investing in a few scripts in the early days. And one of them was GMF Boulder. Okay, I've written down somewhere is that had I held this script today, okay, on an investment of around 1 lakh, which I did about 20, 25 years back, it would have been 1 crore today. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, easily. I mean, I just was too impatient because 10 years the script didn't do anything. It didn't go anywhere. Okay.
And
So you
and
got
the four-time dividend paying company today, sir. So I used to manage the
absolutely,
dividend deals.
absolutely. And today, one of my, this one, what do you call, fund managers is investing today at the price of 1550. That's why when I woke up. The other mistake was in South India Bank. Somewhere I thought, it's a good bank, small scripts, small shares, etc. So I started buying into the script, and I had 100,000 shares of South Indian Bank at an average price of 12. But for again 10 years, nothing was happened. It went down to 9. I sold it. Today, if I look at it, it is, I think, 35 or so, 34, 35. So these are things which, to the young guys, to the seasoned people, they don't need to hear from me. But to the young guys, if you have conviction in a company, if you think this company is doing well, I would suggest keep buying, okay, on dips. And if that's not possible and you want to stop, on the panic button, okay, just what do you call, at least keep holding it. Don't sell in a hurry like I did. There have been other blue chips for me. One was Graphite India. I remember Graphite India. It was recommended by one of these magazines which I pay for subscription. And the price was too good to be true, so I bought 2,000 shares. In 1 year, the 2 lakhs became 12 lakhs. The day it became 1 year, because the time I didn't have to pay capital gains tax in those days. Today we had to pay. I sold it off and I made a profit of around 10 lakhs. Okay, just in 1 year kind of time. But that was, I think I'm quite happy that I got out of that. And there are other like Abel's, Fedbank, etc. No regrets in that day. I mean, if you ask me what are your regrets, etc., no regrets. I made money on Havels. I think I made about 50, 60 lakhs on an investment of 5,000 rupees. Original
That's very
investment.
good.
I know, yeah, but in those days, IPOs were priced reasonably. Uh, 10 rupee share was 15 rupees, and then you add the what do you call, bonuses and rights and other things. I made 60 lakhs on that tables. And today, if I'd kept it, it would have been 1.2. But anyway, uh, but again, I say no regrets. I'm now investing in Growth 91. So I'm hoping that things
Thank
will
you.
look differently with participating with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, sir, I think precisely that was my, another question. So, I mean, everyone would have, heard you till now that, stock investment, because, obviously before 20 years, this was the major, investment, thing, right? Because I know I started my career through mutual fund in 2002, 2003. I used to explain people what is MUTUAL fund, right? What is mutual fund. Today, Dhoni, Sachin Tendulkar, SEBI comes and explain everyone, right? So that's the larger change what has happened, right? So do you believe in say diversification? You have spoken a lot about the stock, but do you really believe in the diversification? And if yes, in case you can just disclose the sectors, we don't want to have the name, but any specific sectors where you have diverted your portfolio.
I don't know. In the old days, about 40, 50 years back, there used to be a book called written by A.N. Shanbhag, In the Wonderland of Investment. I don't know whether some of you have read it. It was a very interesting book which first attracted me towards investment. His philosophy was very simple. Don't buy too many real estate. Today, it's wrong. If you identify the right real estate, you should buy it and invest it. But at the end of the day, I always find that investment in equity pays you more than returns on real estate. Real estate has its own problem when you want to sell it off and you have to bribe a lot of people, pay a lot of tax. But investment in equity is much better. I don't want to get into details about the flat I sold, and had I kept the same money in the BSE index, for example, I would have made another 50 lakhs plus, Okay. Uh, Coming back to your question on the sectors, first of all, it depends on how much money you have to spare. Okay, if you have, let's say, 1 lakh rupees, let's be very, very simple to spare after taking care of your holidays and your living standards, etc. Where do you want to invest it? If you are young, I would suggest an equitable distribution between mutual funds, large cap, and small cap, mid cap, and interestingly, micro cap. Okay. And I'll get back to Microcap because one of my engineering friends introduced me to that. And I made a hell of a lot of money uh, because of him, you know.
Can you please
Uh,
elaborate about Microcap?
Companies which can go bust tomorrow. Okay, or it can give you a 10x return. I'll give you two examples of microcaps. So one of them is K-Solves. Okay, a
Okay.
company you might have heard or not heard or something. My friend recommended that to me, and he still keeps on recommending. And when I wanted to completely just to give an example, is about just before COVID, he suggested that I invest about 40-50 lakhs through his recommendation. Okay, for a fee, he's charging a fee, which I did. My 45 lakhs investment in with him went down to 28. I started panicking, but he was very confident, and mainly it was because of COVID. Okay, today the same amount has bounced back to 1C.
That's good.
You get my point? Okay, it could have been more if I had not bailed out on some of the scripts before. So it's as simple as that. K-Solves, for example, gave me a return of 15x, 15 times in a period of 3 years. Okay, the one of the other. So again, if you want to invest, just split your bucket into 3 4 different this one. Microcap is not easy to invest. You
Of
need to
course.
know. Interestingly, I started investing in IPOs, but you're never getting any success. Okay, microcap. I'm just focusing on microcap now.
Sure.
And today, at my age, I think I have some spare money to gamble. I use the word gamble. And one of my friends is there on this screen. He's teaching me how to be a day trader. Okay, Prakash, you're listening. How to be a day trader. It's not catching my fancy as yet because I think I can make more money by finding the right strips and this one. And to those people who have got more money, go to people like Growth 91. Okay, specifically to HNI customers. If you got about 50-60 lakhs to spare, okay, invest part of it with Growth 91. Okay, it's a high risk. Now, Jimesh will tell you 3 out of 10 will succeed. I think that if you're talking about a 10x kind of situation, even 1 out of 10 succeeding is fantastic.
Correct.
So,
So
I hope I've answered, Jimesh, whatever you're asking.
yeah. So, sir, lightly, what my question was not specifically on the stock sector, but I mean, maybe let's say real estate is one investment. Stock is second, mutual fund is third, startup is a fourth investment. So, how do you see this diversification? That was precisely maybe this will help because I can see a lot of young people on the call now. Who maybe this will be really helpful for them to how to diversify or maybe what is the meaning of the diversification for when this is the hard-earned money you are putting in the investment journey.
It's a very difficult Jimesh. Today the fancy is real estate. Okay, all the real estate stocks are going through the roof. Couple of years back, it was something else. Tomorrow, it will be the pharma sector, in my view. Banking, now PSU, who was touching PSU 2 years back?
No one. Now
Nobody.
people are crazy.
Today, I mean, I remember I had a couple of PSU stocks, REC and IRFC. I got it in the IPO RFC.
Yeah,
Today, they
I
just zoomed up, and I don't see any logic to why it is zoomed up also, Okay, are the fundamentals good? Yes, they were good then, they were good now. Okay, so
Indian Railways is banking now.
but again, I'm coming back to something. A friend about a few months back suggested small caps. I knew about small caps because my nephew is working in a company, small cap, suggested, and I thought, let me try. And that has been really good. So people who don't have the time, but have some money, okay. I'm talking not about the HNIs, I'm talking about the mid to junior level, invest in small caps. It's a risk, but I think it's a weighed risk. Like in 3 months of my investment of 1.5 lakhs in small case, it's now growing at the rate of about 7% per month. no, more than that, 8% per month. 24-25% I have got actually if I sell off tomorrow. So that is it. What is it? I mean, and also, don't think about only saving money. My daughter is very careful. She's there. I hope she's sleeping, but she's there. She's in Canada now. I'm telling her at this moment, enjoy your life also. Okay, we were focused on saving for the kids, and I could put my kids in great colleges, and they're doing pretty well, Okay, but enjoy. So don't think about just investing in some money. But again, I was looking at a chart, Jimish, on the couple of investments I made with you. Okay, and we are talking really good numbers if those companies do well. You know,
Yeah,
I'm just talking about Atria and Tulwa. I don't know where Trivi stands, but anyway.
yeah,
Okay. Maybe, I mean, I would pass the buck back to you to ask and how people can invest in uh, these kinds of opportunities, I would say. It's a very risky opportunities.
yeah,
Okay. But if you have the courage, go for it.
yeah. No, absolutely, sir. So I think, startup has become a flavor, in the today's time. People are investing, but absolutely, this is a high risk, high reward, right? You should be ready that money can become zero as well. But that's the way we, ask people to create a, portfolio of the investment, right? So out of 10 investment, even one, two will fly, and you are done with, your entire investment, right? So that is what we do. But for us, the unique proposition is, sir, we do only those deal where we put our own check as well. So we are not here, only doing the number game. So that's the, a kind of trust which we have created. And this is, one, but otherwise, if someone is a more conservative, then there are multiple other options like mutual fund, like startup investment fund as well, where people can invest and money can get split into multiple, startup as well. But anyways, I think that will, discuss later and, one-on-one also with people. Pratik, you raised your hands. You have any questions?
If I may add something more,
Sure, sure.
just back to me only. Uh, what did I do right after 60? Okay. I looked at what is the interest rate scenario. Let us say it was about 5-6% then, I think. Probably, I just don't know. I kept a very reasonable margin. So if the bank interest rate was going at 6%, I said I need a return of 12%. Okay. I mean,
Perfect.
that is at the upper end of the scale, minus the
Yeah,
30% tax, because if I'm in that bracket, okay,
you
that
have to
was
pay.
fine with me because I'm still beating A, inflation, and B, beating the returns which I get from bank fixed deposit. Have I achieved that in the last 10 years? Yes, very much. Okay, net of tax, I think I made about roughly 12 to 13% CAGR. Okay, by investing in AI, I can name them. Edelweiss was one crossover fund which is wound up, and I got about 20%. I'm in quite a bit of this AIF funds which you mentioned earlier. PMS, like I think ICICI Pipe, which is for small cap, has given me a return of around 38% per annum for the last 3 years.
Wow.
Wow, yeah. It's not that great, huh? Because if you look at it, somebody has given 39% if you're just invested in the index, etc. But for me, it is a wow. Okay. Has anything of this mutual funds or AIF failed? None of them. The minimum returns I got is about 15-60%. So where I don't have to put my head into what they are doing, just keep it aside. Okay. What I am doing is for now for fun. Sitting with Prakash in the morning, giving him a call, asking him which one to short and which one to buy. Sitting with another friend of mine to learn about options and derivatives, but it's going over my head. Okay. So the greed factor has not gone. Okay. The completely planned investment is happening, which is what I suggest even to the young people. Okay. More mature people like my friend Satish, who's there, he doesn't need it. He's got a lot of money. Okay. He can just sit back and enjoy and relax. Okay. My brother, for example, he just doesn't believe in any stock picking. He just wants to invest in debt mutual funds mostly. Okay. Each to his own. Okay. But please take out some time to have fun. Okay. Now, what I've decided from the last 6 months that every month I'm going to sell off. I mean, yesterday I sold off 2 of my mutual funds, got a lot of money, and we are traveling the world. Okay. So that's it. I think,
So,
Jimesh, I told you, I think we're going
yeah,
to Europe on
we are
a,
20
on a
years away
50-day
for that.
tour, and then Australia, New Zealand. Let me just
Yeah.
spend my money. My kids don't need it. Okay. And even if they need it, they have to earn it themselves.
Super, super. No, no, sir. I think absolutely. I am just taking one. I am sure you meant Prakash is Prakash. HS is your friend, so he has asked a very good question. I hope you can, answer that. How about inflation when you think of long-term investments?
It's the same thing. The bank interest rate is about 8%. it tells you a little bit on what is happening, right? Okay. So if your inflation is about 6% and bank interest is 8%, and you're aiming for minimum 12%, I think that's to me good enough. You get something more, you should be happy. But if you're targeting for 25% return per annum, you are taking a risk. Prakash, okay? You want to take a risk, fantastic. You have money to spare, take the risk. This is what I am trying to say. No?
Sure. Pratik, you wanted to ask any question? Yeah, please go ahead, Pratik.
Yeah. So, something just popped into my head, which is basically at this stage, right? Say like early in the career, does it make sense to diversify or basically do good research and put like few eggs in like very few baskets?
See, if you're starting your life, where is the money to diversify?
Yeah,
Just
so
tell me.
please,
Huh?
please give us.
If you don't, I mean, when you're just starting your career, this young lady, I don't know her name, who's asking some question. If she's got about 50,000, 1 lakh, 2 lakhs in a bank account, where is that margin of safety for her to diversify? Okay, the only diversification I would suggest is in a mutual fund. Now, take the case of somebody who has, spent about 20, 30 years and developed a lot of money, 100% diversified. Okay. Today, I mean, very honestly, I shouldn't be discussing this, but there is some article called Swedish death cleaning. Okay, which one of these days we can discuss about it. Huh? Somebody is familiar with that. Swedish Satish knows about this. Is a very close friend of mine. Death cleaning. Okay. Basically, I'm thinking of, even my wife is not around. I'm thinking of selling the house where I'm having, renting a flat, traveling the world, and just having fun. Okay. I wouldn't suggest this to a younger guy, but somewhere down the line we need to think about it. Okay. So yes, and I think at the age of 40, 50, you should have reached somewhere in your career, and that time you should diversify. And one of the risk-taking thing is growth 91. I mean, I started very late with you guys, maybe 6 months back. Okay. I hope you don't disappoint me. Okay.
Oh,
And I'm very confident that you won't. I've invested even in their company, Growth Sense, which is the holding company for all this effect. My aim is that these companies should go liquid. Should go public at some stage so that there is a liquidity. Today there is hardly any liquidity. You get my point?
100%.
Okay.
Sir, Mr. Satish Kini's question is, I have no income now. I'm not sure he's pulling your legs, but I have no income now, only savings in mutual funds and fixed income assets. So my interest is, how should I do intelligent divesting?
Satish is asking this too as a joke. His wife keeps traveling all over the world every few months. Okay. He's like me. He likes to have a 5-star holiday, relax and enjoy. And by the way, he's been a big entrepreneur also. He made a lot of money and investing in a company. And even I participated in the company and I made a lot of money at the time when he sold off the company. But yes, Satish is doing things right. He is having a lot of money in mutual funds. And when he needs it, or I would put it this way, when his wife needs it, he sells some of the mutual funds and she goes on a jaunt wherever in the world. And that's exactly it. At my age, 70, even anybody over 50, 60, etc., just enjoy. Spend the money. Your kids don't need it. Okay? I hope. Your kids don't need it. The stuff you're accumulating in your life, you don't know what to do with it. Today, the biggest battle with me and my wife is, why are you still, keeping the crap? Invest. Now, Pratik, back to you in the question on diversification. Uh, where do you want to diversify? Real estate? Yes, you would need some house for yourself if you can afford it today. Mutual funds, and I think mutual funds are good for people who are don't have the time for it. PMS, and I have really enjoyed investing in PMS because they are giving me fantastic returns. Roughly around, I would say, in the 5 or 6 PMSs on an average, including the one I told you about ICICI Pipe and Contra, on an average, I got about 23, 24% over the last 5 years. Okay, so that has been fantastic. But PMS needs minimum 50 lakhs investment and AIF needs minimum 1C. AIF has given me a little bit lower ones, but 17-18% per annum. But again, think about it. 3 years down the line, your 15-17% compounded per year would give you 50-60%. Fantastic. Yeah, Vikas. Sorry.
थोड़ा सा ज्यादा नहीं, थोड़ा हाथ में आ रहे हैं ना, थोड़े बड़े हैं, गर्मी भी हो रहा है.
Anyone has any question, please feel free to unmute yourself and ask. If anyone doesn't have, then I have a few questions.
So, this is relevant for both, startups and general public stocks. Right now, yes, you are having that long-term vision. You spoke about real estate at one point, nobody was looking at it. Today, it's booming. You said that pharma is what you're hoping is the next one. It'd be good for us to also identify medtech and companies in that range. Sir, is there any other sectors you're seeing, say, in the next 10, 15, 20 years?
I don't have that vision here. Come on, Prateek.
No, I'm not expecting you to be a genie, but your intuition is telling you pharma is. Is there anything else that you're seeing, like in terms of India's growth? You're having some idea, right?
No, I actually I don't go into that.
Okay.
I very honestly, I mean, I have some what you call a certain let's say what you call checklist, if you may ask, on which ones to pick up. Is the management good? Is it growing continuously for the last 5 years? Is it a small or mid cap or micro cap which has got a potential to rise rather than large cap will give you steady income? Are they transparent? Is the management transparent? And then is it mostly profitable? I mean, I can understand in a year or two there won't be profit. So once this checklist is done, then I start investing. And I don't hesitate. I mean, I invest a lot of money. So it's not that I invest only 1 lakh. Like yesterday, I picked up a script recommended by a friend. I'm not very convinced about it. And let's see what happens to that. A few months back, he was not convinced on the script. I picked it up and that has gone up 7x in the last 7 months. Okay. But I didn't put a lot of money in that. Okay. So stock picking does not mean what tomorrow. I mean, we will all guess what can happen tomorrow. Today people are talking about IOC, HPCL, and other oil and ONGC, for example. If you have the appetite, I mean, I lost money on ONGC. Okay, probably investing at the wrong time and getting off at the wronger time. Okay.
Okay.
I heard recently that we should dump all small caps, even mid caps, and put everything into large caps. Any views on this?
Yeah, tomorrow you'll hear something else, Satish.
No. This is a mid-term thing, like next one. The reason they say is that a lot of money from very large funds are moving into India, and they don't have time to look into small caps and all. So they will obviously go into because they are large chunks. So they will go and put into only large caps because they don't have the bandwidth to waste time on analyzing and on small and medium. So my plan has always been to be across, something in small caps, something in mid caps. There are so many different mutual funds. I don't do stock picking because I don't look at it every day. I personally am happier thinking if I'm into index funds. All you got to do at the beginning of the day, see where is the index today, and at the end of the day, where is the index. You don't have to get lost into your specific funds. But this is something interesting because it means, you will be moving almost maybe half of your investment, which is in small and mid, to large. So is there any...
Satish, if I may interrupt you, my blunt answer is no, don't do that. Okay. If you have heard about the speech of Nirmala through one of the Sitaraman, she said that a lot of retail investors like you and me are now in this picture. Previously, if the FIS were going to withdraw 100 crores or 1000 crores, the market would just fall flat. Now, imagine the amount of money they have withdrawn in the month of January, but nothing has happened. The market is still steady or growing. Okay. Now, remember one thing very clearly. Small caps, if they're doing well, will become a mid cap tomorrow, and a mid cap will become a large cap. The moment the equation changes, the fund managers will start buying. Okay, so don't do that. Instead, if you are investing in mutual funds, look at the performance of the mutual funds and rate it according to their peers, and then you decide. Okay, this particular performance. I saw one performance of one mutual fund which was not doing so well, and I still didn't get out of it. Okay, just yesterday I got rid of 2 mutual funds because I want to spend money, just enjoy. Okay, not because they are performing badly, but they are not performing it equivalent to the others in the similar basket. They are giving a return of around 12% or something like that, where others were doing much more. Okay, so that's why 17, 18%. My target has been set. If the interest rate today is 8.75, I get 8.75 on one of the small banks. Okay, which is, let's say, 8%. My target is 14 to 15% if I can get my returns. And if something more happens, some of them will be fantastic. Yeah? I mean, I told you, some of them gave me a 3x, 4x, 5x in a couple of years. So that compensates for some which have been laggards. But I still holding on to it. I remember one script, Tide Water. Tide Water, I think you must have heard of it. They supply oil or something like that. Okay, somebody recommended. I was not at all convinced about it. I just bought in, but I thought that was a good company, and I was losing out 4-5 lakhs in the last few years. But look at it, last 2 days, it's been picking up, and I have recovered my money. Just not panicking like I did in the GMM case. Okay, now I want to invest a little bit more money in micro caps if I can. So again, reversing the answer, instead of putting in large caps. Okay, my fund managers are putting in large caps, so why do I want to duplicate efforts? Okay, another thing is that I want to go into this venture capitalists. Okay, sorry, companies like Growth 91. Okay, I look at the opportunities. They send me opportunity once in a month or something. I look at it. If I'm convinced, I'll be putting some money there. Okay, not much, but not less.
Makes sense. Any other question, or maybe I can.
What do you expect in your typical returns in your Globe 21?
I will leave it to Jimish answer, or Jimish or Pradeep.
Yeah. So this is a equity investment, which is a startup, investment, right? So here, yes, this is liquidity will come, in 3 or 4 ways, right? When any startup comes with the IPO, they are buying back the shares, or maybe they are doing the larger round and they give the exit to the people, right? So generally in startup, what we are talking about is the multiplier return, not maybe percentage return or CAGR, kind of return, because here, this is a high risk, high bet, and we invest the early stage. So just take a example. Although Paytm has created a lot of risk in the market, blah 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 things. But what if you would have invested in their earlier days, right? You would have minted money. Maybe there are multiple cases where people have made 40x, 50x money of their investment. But yes, that could be exception. That could be 1 out of 1,000 or 10,000 as well. But these are the reasons we ask people to create the diversification. So as I said, percentage of return in the startup, it's very, vary, from startup to startup, because here you have a chance of, making your money zero as well, right? So out of your 10 investment, you should be ready that, couple of investment will get failed, couple of investment will not even run, from the stage where you have invested, but maybe 1 or 2 investment will, success, and that will give a good, return overall portfolio per se.
So your model is you invest the investors' money directly into the startup.
So,
Is it?
sir, we don't invest. So we enable the investment opportunity, and you
That's what I'm saying.
You can choose the deal, and directly you go on the.
Okay. So you're not formed a VC fund.
No, we are not an AIF, if that's the question.
Okay. Got that.
Yeah.
Because I'm on the advisory board of IVCAP.
Wow. Okay.
So there, it's a regular fund.
Yeah.
Like the third fund is what 2,000 crores.
Yeah.
So what our attempt is to get about 25% IRR for the
Yes.
investors,
Yes.
which is typically 10 plus 1 plus 1 years.
Yeah.
So money is not coming, in a predicted manner, but a lot of divestment happens much before the 10 plus 1 plus 1.
Yeah. So what
So
happens
I
is, yes,
maintain that sense.
AIF is a good fund, but a lot of investor who wants to invest in the startup, they are finding very difficult to be part of the AIF because of the lot of stringent guideline likes your net worth, your illiquid assets, your experience, and multiple other things, right? You should be investing 25 lakhs to 1 crore depending on the cat of the AIF, for next 5
1
years and
crore.
other things,
1
right?
crore.
1
Yeah.
crore.
Yeah.
1
Currently
crore.
for individuals, it's 1 crore.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but individuals at 1 crore and there's no early exit. So you will be in trouble
No,
if
that's
you
what I
want.
said. No exits, but you can keep getting, my experience is that firstly, when you talk of 1 crore, it takes about 1 to 2 years for you to get all those calls, for you to get all the investments. And within another 2-3 years, you start getting back.
Satish, is not that easy because I invested in a lot of these AIF funds, 1 crore. What is happening is that when the fund managers sells and buys scripts and there is a capital gain, okay, when they give me the report at the end of the year, I have to pay tax on that. I have not received any money in my hand. That was my biggest challenge which I found. Last financial year I paid a hell of a lot of tax and I had to sell my mutual fund to pay the tax because all my money was investment. So AIF is for people who will put 1 crore when they have 25 crores. Let me put it this way. Okay. Or 5 crores when you have got about 25 crores. Then you do it. But if you are having a little bit of less money, then please put it in PMS. That is again minimum 50 lakhs. So that's again no joke. Okay. And then if you still don't have that money, you have the mutual funds. And there are very good mutual funds are there giving you fantastic returns of around 17-18%. And then if you want to gamble on your own, buy scripts like I do. I have these compartments. I got the AIF. I don't bother. Once in a month, I check what the result. And somebody was mentioning here, how long do you spend on these things? I think daily I spend not more than 1 hour. Maximum 1 hour in all these things. So life is not all about making money. I know there are people who are buying on day trading, for example, options and this one. So you have to be glued to your computer. Why? Okay. If you want a high risk kind of thing, go to Jimish. If any of you got a money of 2.5, 5 lakhs, go to Jimish, high risk. And then you can start worrying about it all the time. But if you want peace and want to sleep it, mutual fund. Easy peasy.
Or better still, go to the race course on weekends or to the Goa for the casinos.
Yeah, I'll come with you. You have a place there, so we'll come to the question. Okay, let's move on. Jimish, unless there is some earth-shaking question. Prakash is laughing because he is Prakash Hosmani. He's a very close friend and he's laughing. And he's my
So I think I had a lot of questions, but during the discussion, a lot of questions answer anyways combine, and but last thing from my side, sir, although you would have covered, but any concluding remarks? Obviously, Satish ji and all are very ahead, in their life, and they already experienced like the way you have done it. But a lot of youngsters are on the call. Even let's say I'm not a youngster, but we have also done a mistake. I'm sitting in the state of Gujarat where anything happens on the tip base, right? People say one tip, and 1,000 people are buying the share, and they are entering at a 52-week high, right? Because that becomes a 52-week high. That is the tip. So at my age also, I have a good amount of lakhs of paper which is lying in my wardrobe, which are delisted in nature, right? That companies are completely delisted. So I have also burned my hands a lot, but I am a high risk taker, like so that's my nature. But there are a lot of young people who have just started their career. They have just started investing. So what's the maybe concluding remarks or any advice from your side to those people, as well as there are investors who have invested in multiple assets and they have money, but they are they want to have some guidance, where all they should put keep on investing the money.
I actually have written down a few things, and I think we talked about it throughout the conversation. First of all, set a target. If you don't have a target, it's going to be very, very difficult. Okay. Then when you want to identify scripts, and I'm talking about equity now, I'm not talking about other this one. Okay. Just looked at the management. First of all, the number one in this one is the management. How honest they are. You know, you can, some people might say, look at his holdings. If the owners have more than 50-60%, then it's a better risk, etc. Okay, how transparent they are, what profitability, etc. The third, and this is this one, it doesn't apply for everybody. What kind of mix you want to have in equity? Okay, I would say if you got 1 lakh rupees, and let me be quite honest about it, and you are young, okay, you have on the large cap 20%, mid and small cap 25% each, and in your young micro cap 25 to 30%. These are the ones which you can either lose the money or you'll make a lot of money. And if you add a little bit more risk, what you call, you're not risk averse, then go for venture capitalists. They have huge potentials. They can collapse, but they have some huge potential. Now, if you don't have the time to invest, I would suggest you go for a little bit for PMS, mutual funds, etc. And finally, don't make too much money to leave it to your children. Okay? Please learn to enjoy what you have today. And I have decided at the age of 70 that I'm making a mistake. You know, my kids are all doing very well, you know. And Anushka, for example, she's investing also with a spare money. She's very, very careful with the money. And she's investing in Canada in something called Wealth Simple, where she's not aggressive enough. And my sons are telling her to be a little bit more aggressive enough whenever she has some spare money. Okay. So just enjoy. The kids don't need it. These guys are very smart. Today's generation, I would think, will, not need your support, parent support, etc. Okay. So having said that, Jimesh, Pratik, and the Growth 91 team, thank you for inviting me to speak about my journey. Okay. It has been different journey. I mean, if we had time, we could talk about the good days, the bad days, my college days, the days with Satish Kini, where we went in Shivaji Park, having nothing, just came from scratch. I had nothing when we started my life.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for sharing your insights. It really helps, sir. I'm sure, and it has helped me. I'm sure it will help, a lot of others. And thank you all for joining, the session. Really appreciate it. Thank you so
And
much.
keep me
All the
informed
best.
on the world tour.
If
When you sell
you're
off your
coming,
house.
Satish, I'm going to Scandinavia and then to the biggest cruise ship which has come now. Okay.
Ah,
Sorry
Which
to
is that?
interrupt. Can we all wait for 2 minutes after this? Then we can make a click a one set.
Oh, sure.
sorry.
Yeah, if everyone can just switch on the video, if at all it's possible, no compulsion, then I think she
Video
can
or camera? Yeah.
sorry, a camera. Yeah.